Wow, I have to stand up to take an entire picture of the box art of this boy. Welcome everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is another kit review about a mighty subject. The subject here is really something incredible. It is the Scania LB141 made by Heller. This is a box originally coming, I think, from the late 80s, featuring one of the masterpieces of the Swedish trucks, And it was extremely rare until a few years ago, when Heller decided to make a reissue. You will never find these items cheap around, because anyway the truck is a very nice model inside. Let's see what we get here. The box is, as I said, huge, and Heller have been reissuing this stuff in a very, very nice way. I like it a lot, this new box art, this new appeal that you have. The box is absolutely steady, The problem usually with huge boxes, especially from Heller and Revel, it was that they were extremely weak, so it was easy when you place a pile of model over to be completely folded and the inner part was damaged. I had it back in time. I remember from the first distributor of Heller, we are talking of the 90s, and I remember that we have piles of this model, exactly of the same subject, not exactly of this box, that then we sold, I think, at the time for something like $10, so it was absolutely cheap. We're talking of the middle 90s, from a distributor, so they arrive in a shop, guess what, $20, something like that, double, okay. And then they completely disappear, and then I seen some models online, and honestly I like it so much, this version of the Scania 141. Some models made by Barlas, there is, I think, is a Turkish modeler, made amazing job, and Jan Roseski also, that other fantastic modeler that made incredibly nice models about this subject, and indeed there is of course a lot of work to do, because this is of course is a compromise to the real truck. So if you want to achieve a nice detail, you have to work a lot to have a good work over this model. The main issue that we have in the box, let's try to take my space, that the box is huge, guys. I think it's a 50 centimeter of box, so as you see, wow, it seems that I just bought a brand new Nike pair, Inside we have these black papers. This I made it by myself because I don't like parts floating around the box. This is very interesting because I already made a couple of them, but they were made in rubber. And the detail, I think this was one of the latest parts they had in their box. So basically the tire that is featuring a quite nice, not so ugly at all, because the width of the wheel is absolutely correct. It's more correct than the Italian version, much more wide, I think it's a 12.00. Cannot read it here. Anyway, it should be featuring the Michelin X, so it's the same tire that I made for my other trucks in 3D printing, and they feature a double mold, so the wheel is open into valve with a special key to be respected to have the proper pattern over that. It is not so bad at all anyway. It was much worse than the first edition, so you didn't have this detail. Then we have a very nice instruction sheet with this I love really. When you are working in your place, you can place this by the door, and the wife, the kids and so on will not come and disturb you while the building in progress. This I love. You can place it there. Keep out, work in progress. Very nice new instruction sheet, colored also, featuring different versions. There is something Swedish, Kuhn and Nagel, I think is German, Panalpina, I don't know, sounds Italian but is not, British probably. Vabbè, colored, the instructions are in colored, like in the Italy issues of the reissued model, they are all in color with a very nice work on the instruction sheet. This is always something that is missing in models, or too simple in my opinion. A very nice decal sheet. Probably the sheet is made, I don't know if from Carter or somebody in quality anyway, because it looks extremely well done with the logos and with some road plate and datas from the chrono tachygraph. I don't know which is the name for the chrono counter that they had back in time. They feature all the details of the motor, and let's see what's inside. It's nice that they have this black paper covering what was in the beginning the main issue of this model. I remember when we had them, the biggest issue was probably that due to the quality of the plastic they used in the mold, they were all completely wrapped. So there was not one single sprue that was not completely wrapped. As you can see, they try to be their best to try to avoid that problem, even more in a subject like this, that differently from the Italeri kits, they had, for example, the main frame that is already is a leather. Trucks have a leather chassis under. You know, leather means that it's made like a stair that you climb up. And as you can see, it is not made like Italeri that gives the left and the right side plus all the bones in the middle, but they just place the upper and the lower part. So you basically, it's like a panino that you have to fix it together. And this is discutable solution, you know, because of course all the details can be a little more tricky to obtain, and of course you will have a huge line of connection point between the upper and the lower part of the chassis that you have to work to sand and to make it look completely. In reality, of course, is a single piece of steel, so it is not divided in two. And the detail is not so bad, despite, of course, many modelers say that the best solution ever should be to use the cab, just the head cab, and to fit it over a chassis coming from Italeri, because in those years the quality that Italeri raised in this type of mold is absolutely unbeatable by anybody of them. So indeed, if you want to do a proper version of this truck, my idea is anyway to find something like the following version made by Italeri, indeed like that. That is also a 6x2 version of the same truck. You have to add another 50 bucks to this model, I mean, to do this type of process. So this is not so bad, but if you place a better quality chassis under, the result is absolutely stunning, no compared to what you get here. This is just my opinion, you know, also other modelers state the same solution, but, you know, because the inner part anyway is not so badly done. You see, for example, the seats are not so bad. We are talking anyway of the quality of Eller. Eller never have been famous to be a real high quality model. For example, also the details, they are not so bad, but if you look at the pins and the plugs holding together the covering of the real wheels, you see that the details, we are in 1/24 scale. This is absolutely unacceptable. You know, the mold is really coming from the late 80s. And as I say, despite the nice effort to try to keep this protected by this Nike black plastic, black paper over, Jesus Christ. Here we go, we have a chromed part, detail, chromed detail that is ugly, you know, on the same sprue they places also the pillow of the main driver that is chromed. I don't think in reality they come in chromed stainless steel. I don't think so. Everything is possible, you know, to avoid hemorrhoid. You can also have that. Also, the tanker is not so badly done. It's not so bad. I mean, the quality is exactly like if you, in my opinion, I am always optimist when I get this model because I like the subject. So I basically see just the positive point of a model like this. I don't see the millions of negative points of that. I think it's extremely good to be positive by your own point of view instead of starting to say, no, the quality could be made, everything could be made better. Of course, if you take something made it with modern technology, of course that became better, but this is absolutely not so bad at all. And of course you have to strip it down from this terrible chrome that it don't match anything at all, you know. So I think it was the column of the steering wheel is made in chrome silver, you know, as well as the seats. These have to be bleached out completely. We use ammoniac for this stuff, and the detail is, as I say, bad but not too bad, you know. The wipers is there, you have to take it, strip it down and rebuild and correct. Okay, many can say, okay, then it is not so correct. As I told you, I try to be positive. And then here we go. I was hoping, you see, I just seen that with you, that I didn't get any wrapping. Everybody was so happy because this was the same issue that you will find in the Peugeot 905 that they made, the Group C Peugeot, that was completely wrapped and devastating, ugly like model, you know. There is the review on my channel, but the reissue was not so bad at all, you know. Instead, here, as I said, I say wrap, you say wrap, you say wrap, place your hand in the air, wrap. So wrapped that they also broke the pin from here, so I hope you can see. I want to be positive. This detail, I just made a video of the review of the 143, of all this back panel that was quite similar to the following series of the Scania. This was the series 141. The series 142 was similar in this detail. If you take the Italeri model, down here is another world, completely different stuff, you know. And can be interesting also, maybe if you don't want to keep it like a folder-head cab, or if you have a 6-cylinder engine to make a 111 truck. That was the smaller version, you know. The 141 was the V8 powered engine of this truck, that they also placed, like we said before, like we seen before, I think, the motor. There is all the motor produced, of course, because this was already a truck with a reversible cab, you know. This was made in the years where Italians, and I am Italian, as you know, were producing the 170 and 180 trucks, mostly the 170, but for example, the 170 had 350 horsepower over a V8 with a fuller motor, and this one had 340 horsepower. So the quality of the truck was extremely similar, you know, to that one. It was a truck, I think, from 1976, this one. The cab, the detail is absolutely typical from the 80s, so you cannot complain so much from what you get. And as I said, if you see the building around of the people making this type of models, they are absolutely stunning. So it is really encouraging me to buy it and to do it. And I didn't add this in my collection, so I want absolutely to do it. Probably, as I said, I will use an under chassis from 143. I think I also have somewhere a scrapped 143 that I took from another modeler that made a mess with it. And the last two sprues are dedicated to the engine. You know, there is the fifth wheel. Okay, the fifth wheel, to have an idea, have a look. That's a fifth wheel coming from the Volvo from Italeri. That is the one from them. So the size is similar. I made copies of them. They are available on my store, or just email me, drop me a mail if you are searching for this. Isn't that better? Isn't that nicer? You know, yeah, it is. Absolutely it is. So I will use, and this is also a failed one, you see, because the rubber, the resin didn't catalyze in the proper version, so it is still remaining a little bit soft, you know. But as I say, complexively is not a so bad model, you know. It's quite basic. It's something that you can find, for example, in the same quality of AMT trucks, in the same level. The most important part is that is a Scania. So Scania is always a Swedish masterpieces truck, and so many drivers around the world love it so fucking much. As you can see, also the springs are, well, not so well done like in the Italeri Kit, so everything is absolutely lacking of real quality detail. This is just a very good starting base, and once again, in my opinion, is a starting base to use the cab. The rest, if you want, you can go for a super detailing of this part, but always I think is absolutely better to simply take a Italeri Scania and use the under chassis. It combined also with their wheels, because the wheels and the tires in this last edition is not so bad. But I think anyway the best way is to keep this part like a spare part for your extra projects, secondary steering wheel, extra parts, you know, and whatsoever engine, not so well detailed like in the Italeri kits. So my idea is anyway to keep this like a donor part for something extra and use a better under chassis. The model is anyway this one. Not so bad, not too good, of course. It was exactly what I was expecting to get from them, and I appreciate a lot the packaging. The packaging was absolutely great in this model, but of course we are quite far away from a real wow. Is a work to place everything back again. Is a real work, and that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I will go on in another half an hour closing all this stuff. I forget the stuff here. This is probably the best part in the box, in my opinion. Just my 2 cents, guy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.